And so one of the questions is, how are we doing with Nagel? And that's important for us to discuss and give the board an update. And I think that Mr. Bibb and I were there this morning when we went through that meeting. There's some inflated numbers in our community right now about things that are happening at Nagel Middle School. I'm hearing social media, 70, 80 fights in the building, and those are not accurate numbers. And so we need to get back to reality here with the Nagel Middle School and what's taking place in there. So at Nagel Middle School, a document that I have reviewed, which is information that we provide to the Ohio Department of Education and our EMIS, which is Educational Management Information System. These numbers go to the Ohio Department of Education as a reflection of our district. So right now we have 41 students who are involved in some type of altercation or some type of situation where there has been a physical altercation. Well, that's 41 students, which means we're really talking about 20 fights in the building. And so people are hearing 40 fights, 70 fights. That's not what's happening at Nagel Middle School. One fight is too many, but we do not have an out-of-control building where kids are running the ship, so forth and so on. We have an increase of altercations in the building. We are seeing that countywide with the individuals that we work with Hamilton County, with Children's Hospital. We're learning more and more about the stress and the issues in kids' lives, and those stresses and issues are moving downward. In a middle school where you have 12, 13-year-old children, that's a place where some of that is more frequent than what you might find in an elementary school where we have sort of enclosed class. Kids move in groups. They don't have the freedom that kids begin to have in the 7th and 8th grade. You move into a high school environment and it's a little bit different as kids mature. But in that time period, we know that there are more aggressive behaviors because kids are kind of figuring out who they are, how to socialize, how to get along. Again, no fight. No fight is a good situation. So about 20 fights in that building up to this point. There's another thing out there on social media about sweeping things under the carpet or not informing people about what's going on or maybe not providing consequences to students. Every single circumstance where there has been a confrontation in that building among students that the administration is aware of. That's important. That we are aware of. There's been some videos out there about things that have happened that we were not aware of. Same types of things happen in society. The police aren't there, the video's out there, and there's something going on over there. Of the ones that we have an awareness of, 100% of those students have received consequences. 100%. These are important numbers to leave the room with knowledge of. And of those 100%, I am personally aware of less than of one student who is a reoccurring situation in that building. So there's something else that I think we need to walk away with, and that's a positive attitude about the fact that after an altercation happens or after something takes place, when we work with our counselors, when we work with our students, when we work with our parents, we work with our affiliate organizations that are helping us with kids, we see that there are not reoccurrences that are taking place. So these are important things. We don't have 70 or 80 fights. We have more like 20. We have 41 students that are part of that. 100% of those 41 students have received consequences. And of those, we have one reoccurring, so we know that the interventions that we're putting into place after the fact are working. We are a learning environment. We are not a jail cell. And so that's important for us to remember that we are educating students after the fact. That's the whole reason that we have PBIS plans in our district. Behavioral Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 things that we're doing with students. Because that's part of the educational process for kids. And that's important for our community to be aware of. So that's the first part about that, which then led to the volunteer individuals. Every person in this room that is a school official or teacher is excited about having additional assistance in our buildings. We want those partnerships with our parents. We invite those partnerships with our parents. What has happened over the last 2 years is we haven't had as many people in the building because of COVID. okay? So now we have this group of individuals, because of some of the things that they're hearing and some of the assumptions that they have, that want to come in and help us, and we welcome that. And what we've done is we've created a situation with the district's, or excuse me, with the building's PTO, where we have people signing up. They have specific assignments. They have specific places in the building where they are assisting us. And this is a good thing. And it actually started this morning, the first actual volunteers being on site. And in the PTO this morning, Mr. Bibb and I heard that one of the volunteers who was there in the morning said it was a great situation. She came into the building. She received a document from the administration. She had an opportunity to be trained in the area that she was going to be going to. She had an opportunity to ask questions. She had an opportunity to interact with kids, and she said it was a wonderful day and a great experience. And that is precisely what we want. And so we've been able to make that happen. I do want to thank Mr. Bibb and the rest of the board members for pushing forward with that to get it done as quickly as we possibly can. We made that happen through the PTO because it was the most efficient way to do that. Individuals who were spearheading that in our community, I have talked to personally and invited them in to meet with us. They have been part of the design of this process. And I want to thank Jill, Ragacy, I hope I'm saying that correctly, her last name, but Jill is the PTO president at Nagel, and she has been more than helpful in putting that together and giving us direction as to how the PTO can really spearhead that and help move it along. So I have, the many things that are happening with our volunteers. What I forgot to say here was we've changed schedules, we've adjusted assignments, we've adjusted responsibilities in our hallways, near our restrooms. We've done all of those things. With our volunteers, moving forward, we think we have a positive situation. Again, no fight is a good situation. We need to recognize the age of the students, and we also need to recognize that at this point in time, our interventions are working, and we're thankful for those individuals who are coming in to help volunteer. So that leads us into another significant reason why we were here, which is the board discussion. And I want to really, if I may, Mrs. Stewart, you had some questions and concerns and some things that you wanted us to listen to this evening or consider this evening. So if you're okay with it, I'm going to turn it back over to you and let you guide us a little bit.
Okay.